Well, joining us now on This Is the Day is Father Chris Heanue, who is the rector of the Co-Cathedral of St. Joseph and St. Teresa of Avila Parish in Brooklyn, New York. He just recently taught a course at Pope St. John XXIII National Seminary in Weston called Parish Governance. And we wanted to talk to him today about the course and the importance of it for seminarians. Thanks so much for being with us, Father.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. Really happy to be here. And I have my beautiful co-cathedral here as the backdrop. So,
That's great. It's beautiful. It's a great shot.
Thank you.
Maybe we could dive into the course itself, Father. Tell us a little bit about it and maybe some of the things you were teaching the seminarians.
Sure. Well, oftentimes you'll hear priests say among themselves, oh, they don't teach you that in the seminary. They don't teach us how to do this in the seminary, how to be a contractor, a plumber, all these administrative aspects that we're kind of thrown into. And so even though I'm still a young priest comparatively, I guess 8 years ordained this June, in my early years as a priest, my bishop at the time, Bishop DiMarzio, sent me to get a degree, a master's in business administration. Okay. It helped me tremendously in my ministry. It helped me so much in administering. I was actually ordained as an administrator of a parish, so I never had that chance to just like train altar servers or just, visit the school. I was my first year, I was fundraising over $1 million for a diocesan campaign, and we had 7 buildings, and roofs were leaking, and the tower was collapsing. And so that was the beginning of this course, to say, how can we help guys, our men in formation, to better be prepared for the future ministry that they're about to enter into.
And people think, as you're mentioning too, when people think of seminary formation, they may not think of some of the things that you mentioned in the course as well. Talk about how important it is, how this practical information can be of great substance to a new priest entering a parish.
Sure, thanks. I mean, I began the course by first asking the deacons. They're transitional deacons. They're right in their last semester before ordination, and that meant a lot to them too, because you know what? They said, we love all this. We studied all the scripture. We studied it all till we're blue in the face. Now teach us about, how do we ask people for fundraising? How do we hire and fire? If we have human resources concerns, et cetera. So what we began with was first developing the person's individual mission, their vision for themselves, for their priesthood, and for their parish. And then from there, once you know where you're going, then other people will follow you. But if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know where direction you want to bring this parish, here we are now, where do we want to be next year or 5 years from now? You'll just kind of meander, lost. So we started with vision, and then I incorporated, because I can't claim to be the guru of all this, so I brought in as many guests as I possibly could to give presentations. And these were men and women who work in that field. So I brought in our director of human resources to give the men a presentation on exactly that: hiring, firing, interviewing, job descriptions, etc. We brought in someone to talk to them from a fundraising corporation to teach the guys how do you ask for money, really? How do you petition it? How do you start a campaign? What are the goals in mind? We talked about media and evangelization and the role of incorporating Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and all of those aspects of social digital media. And then I ended the course. This is how I specifically designed it, was then to end with the financial reports, reading a budget statement, reading the profit and loss, understanding how to do your budgets. Why? Well, because I wanted them to know, I wanted the guys to realize, more importantly that finances are very important it costs a lot of money to just light this co-cathedral. Our electric bill is $8,000 almost a month, thank you, New York City. But I want them to realize that the church will grow, their parish will grow if they built an incredible team with it, and then we'll worry, about the financial statements.
From your experience, Father, from what you hear from from new priests, what would you say for them is the toughest parish governance issue that they struggle with when entering a new parish? Is it the fundraising? Is it the bills? Or what would you say?
Yeah, I asked the gentleman, the unique thing about the seminary that I was teaching at Pope John the 23rd National Seminary, Saint Pope John the 23rd, is that these are men who have had former, jobs.
Yes, yeah.
They're generally it's a delayed kind of vocation in those who are responding. So they're older. They've worked in the business field. They've worked in management. But with all of that said and done, I asked them, what is it that you want to get out of this course? And some wanted to get a better grasp at just administering staff, how to be a better leader to staff. Some wanted to talk about the fundraising concerns. So there was a wide variety of what they were hoping to get out of it.
Sure.
And I think, they seem to be quite happy with the product. And I just want to say I'm grateful to Father Kiley and Father Zwasta, the academic dean, Father Kiley, the rector, for inviting me and allowing me to teach the course. And we were able to utilize both in-person and Zoom. So I came up to Boston from Brooklyn. It got me out of Brooklyn for a few days to go up to Boston and do some intensive coursework, and then to do a few courses via Zoom. So it was a nice hybrid experience.
That's great. Thank you so much, Father Chris, for joining us today and for sharing that. It's a very important course, and hopefully they'll be able to continue that as well, because it's great to have that kind of experience for these young priests getting into the parishes, or older priests getting into the parish as well.
Anyone getting into it, you know what?
Yeah.
We all need it, and I think something that sometimes we miss in the church circles is the sharing of best practices. The regular corporations do that. They meet, they share best practices. Yeah. What's working here? What's not working? We have some great gems in different dioceses. Well, why are they gems, and why can't every parish be a gem? So sharing those best practices is a great gift. So, but thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it, and thanks to Bishop Reed as well for extending the invitation.
Definitely, Father Chris. Thank you so much.